Hey, how's everyone doing today? Are you ready for the MLB lockout within 48 hours as possibility? The news is breaking out, as well as have who is better, Judge versus Stanton. And did the Yankees make a smart choice on passing Max Scherzer? And we're going to close it off with our guest on with who is coming to the Bronx. So we're going to kick it off right now here with Anzo. So Anzo, how do you feel about knowing that the MLB lockout is coming to us right now?
Thank you, Israel. As you guys know, that's Israel Navarro. And basically, yeah, the MLB lockout's coming. And I feel like there's a lot of technical things when it comes to it. But I feel like it could take longer than most people expect it will. And so hopefully the commissioner and the players union can come to an agreement and basically figure out what things are going to be different, what things are not going to be different. I hear things that it's going to be like the NBA. Maybe they're going to come to an agreement on a lottery draft. I don't know what you guys think about that. Make sure to comment below and let us know what you think will come out of this possible MLB lockout. Israel, what do you think?
Well, Anthony, I think it's very interesting considering the fact the last MLB lockout was in 1994. From there, we have obviously the last time we had a shorter season was obviously due to the pandemic. But outside of that, one of the craziest things is that there is going to, this lockout may be longer than we expected. And that's the reason why we're seeing all these crazy teams. Obviously, the Yankees have been asleep during the free agency, but that's why you're seeing the Mets, the Rangers, going crazy signing people because if the lockdown comes into effect on December 1st, we're going to lose it. But the reason is one is because the owners want to expand the playoffs, but they want to lower the salary, which I think we all can agree. No one cares a bunch of billionaires thinking about lowering people's salary. We actually would prefer them to raise the player salaries. So that is where it's coming into. The players are actually asking to get their part in the revenues, considering that before the pandemic, the Major League Baseball was revenuing over $10 billion in revenues. So we're seeing that there's no question this is. Obviously, the owners want to do other things like international draft. They want to expand the playoffs to 14 teams from the American League and the National Leagues, as well as we could see that it may not be helpful. But I will say this. I think the player unions might win this lockout, and they're going to have to accept the fact that they do have to increase the luxury tax. They increase the luxury tax. Obviously, a team like the New York Yankees can actually benefit, giving us a huge opportunity to go out there and sign Carlos Correa to a deal since he's the only shortstop in the market. So that is right now what's coming. We don't know. There's so much technicality we can talk about right now. But the thing is, this is the reason why we are currently seeing all these crazy contract signings happening now. And you can expect tomorrow as well before December 1st kicks in, because that lockout can take in from December to January and may affect when pitchers and catchers report in. So I don't know how you guys feel about the MLB lockout, but please write in the comment section below. Let us know how you're feeling about that right now.
Now, the next topic is going to be about who's better, Judge or Stanton. There was a lot of comments when it came to not Aaron Judge. Who was it? Aaron Boone, right? Aaron Boone was talking a lot about Stanton and how he really took in all the boos and all the criticism from just being in New York Yankee. And he took it really well, and with the Mets and everything like that, you know, where he went confronting Lindor, he's basically like saying, hey, look, I've been through what you've been through, but even worse. And you've been doing this for 5 minutes. I've been doing this for years. And so really the topic comes down to who's better, Judge or Stanton. So Israel, I'm going to pass it off to you and you can get us started on this.
All right, guys. Well, obviously to me, my pick I consider better is Judge, considering he's been the leader of the locker room. He's been obviously from that outstanding debut as a rookie in 2017 to now considering this past season of 2021, where he came in fourth for the MVP. I do see that, but I will give credit. Giancarlos Stanton has been 100% a clutch player for us. We saw his awesome performance against the Red Sox in the wild cards. And when we need a big hit, he delivers. But in this situation, I do obviously Stanton. Yeah, he had his dispute with Francisco Lindor. I thought we were going to watch some professional wrestling and we're going to see him choke slam Lindor. But all jokes aside, I do believe Judge is the one that obviously he carries the Yankees, carries it with pride, and he tries to make sure that team makes it not only to the playoffs, but to understand that the goal is to win the 28th World Series. While obviously the other dispute is Judge, is he going to get his money? With the way the Yankees free agency is going, I wouldn't be surprised we hear he gets an extension. But we can also see that Stanton, Giancarlos, he's been outstanding, and you're going to watch it with this coming to he's going to try to go and get that MVP this season. I believe Giancarlos is really into it.
Great take, Israel. Yes, I mean, I agree. I like Judge, but to be on the contrary, I would say Stanton. Stanton has been an incredible player when it comes to being clutch. I mean, you can argue the same for Judge, but I like Stanton. I like Stanton more. I would say Stanton, I mean, you see him in the room. This guy, he looks like he can smash whatever he wants physically. And so this guy, he comes in so clutch. I mean, I think of the Red Sox game where he hit that grand slam, and I'm sure every single Yankee fan was screaming on the top of their lungs because I was screaming, how clutch was that? And so Stanton really, he really takes that aspect of being a leader by being so humble. He could have been so like Baez, like Lindor. He could have been like, oh, boo, you guys, like, forget you guys. Oh, I just want to be traded. He could say so many different things that, of a player that of his level and of a player that makes so much money like he does. He could say, forget you guys, and then I want to be traded. I want to do this. I want to do that. Or he could be a diva and he'll still get paid. But this guy, he's shown so much character. He's shown so much class in the post-game interviews, no matter what's going on. He gets the job done. And so I would say Stanton is better than Judge. And Judge, I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get that extension. For me, if it were up to me, I'd say, hey, let's trade Judge. Let's try to get a bunch of other really good players in instead, and let's sign Correa instead this time around. But that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with Israel, whether Judge is the best player compared to those two players, or if you agree with me. Do you think Stanton is the best player? Comment below, and let's head on to the next topic.
All right, the big question was, it was well known the Yankees need pitching, and Max Scherzer was in the Yankees' radar, but obviously that price tag of $42 million was a questionable thing. I'm going to kick this off and say that the Yankees were very smart on passing him. Yes, he has won his Cy Youngs. Yes, he is a World Series champion, winning with the Nationals. But for that price tag and everything, I think the Yankees, A, they can sign someone else for a long-term deal, or B, get another pitcher that's obviously up and coming, or to bring a pitcher international at a price tag if they for $130 million instead of doing it with 3 years. They could have just the Yankees can obviously get a pitcher and make it a 5-year, 6-year deal where they can stretch that out and not having to take a burden of a guy who just wanted a short-term deal, make quick bucks, and probably, because of his age, not deliver at the top of the level. So I don't know how you feel about that, Anthony.
Yes, I mean, it would have been awesome to get Max Scherzer, and we would have had two real dogs, workhorses on our starting rotation, and that would have been awesome to have that 1-2 punch, a guy with experience. If you guys watch my channel on Anzo, you know how much I value postseason World Series experience because it's very valuable, very, very valuable. And the Yankees are always in the postseason, so why not get a workhorse like that? But at a price tag of, you're talking about $43 million a year. Really think about that. That's the most ever in baseball history per year. Think about that. That's a lot. That's a lot. Not even Judge, not even Stanton. I mean, not even Lindor, not even, I think the only person that comes close is Cole, and he comes in at $36 million. So you're talking about a huge difference. of money for a guy that's in his late 30s at the end of his career. Yes, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but come on, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you think this guy deserves that contract at the Mets, or other Mets just crazy and just handing out money because they missed out on a bunch of executive decisions that, really the Mets fans were getting upset. And so I don't know, guys. I wouldn't do it. I agree with you, Israel. I wouldn't have signed Scherzer for that much amount, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you. You can get a lot of players for $42 million. And so the Yankees did good on passing. I don't think they were even in on it, because that's how much he was asking for. So yeah, forget that. Now, going forward, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about who is going to be on the Yankees. Who's the next shortstop? Who's the next signing that the Yankees are going to do? Israel, I know we had Corey Seager originally on here, but he just signed for a crazy amount of money. I think it was 10 years. Crazy. Now, who else is on our radar? I'm going to let you start us off right here. Who else? Oh, who's the Yankees going to sign? Who are they going to sign? Is it going to be some big name free agent that we know?
Well, right now, I think unless they're not calling up someone from the minor leagues, or they're going to pull a trade for somebody we're not suspecting, I think the first best option, especially for the shortstop position, forget about the controversy, forget about it, go with Carlos Correa. And considering that we can get him, if we can make that steal from the Detroit Tigers, I understand they're another team that can offer him a 10-year deal. But I think that right now, to fill that void of shortstops, we're going to have to do it. That's for sure. Obviously, the Yankees has also been linked to pursuing Matt Olson. Right now, we do have Anthony Rizzo. So if the Yankees are going to wait for Matt Olson to enter, obviously, free agency, the next best choice, and to make that quick announcement for another season, is to bring Anthony Rizzo back into the Bronx, put him back in the pinstripes. Obviously, he has not been the all-star player that when he was part of that 2016 win with the Chicago Cubs. But I do believe that with his World Series experience, he can actually help us get into the postseason, as well as the focus and the drives to bring us into the World Series in the Bronx next year. But right there are my two choices: to bring back Anthony Rizzo, let Luke Voit walk. I think he would be better off probably going to the Rockies or going to another team that just needs a player that's a heavy hitter. And we have to now. There is no question. I really hope Cashman is not sleeping right now. He's actually going out there and getting his hands wet with signing Carlos Correa on the dotted line, even if it is in a 12-year deal where he just makes $20 million each year. Whatever it takes, just get the guy, sign him. We need it. We need a shortstop. We can't have Gio or Torres going back and forth figuring out who is the best fit for shortstop. So I'm taking it over to you, Anthony.
Yes, Israel. I definitely agree with some of the choices you make. I don't know if I agree with Rizzo. Rizzo is definitely a veteran presence and actually gives you a lot of defensive power. But again, if the Yankees aren't going to get Olsen, if the Yankees aren't going to get Freeman or anyone else, really, it seems like they're sleeping right now. So then, yeah, I would take Rizzo over Voit for sure. And when it comes to the shortstop position, I would say let's get Correa. But keep in mind, if Corey Seager got 10 years, 325, a lot of times this all has to do with ego and being the number one shortstop, number one free agent in the market. And Correa's not going to settle for less than what Seager got. So Correa is the better player than Seager and the younger player than Seager. So guess what? Correa is going to be now asking for at least 10 plus years at over $350 million minimum. It has to be at least more than 325. I'm predicting it would be at least 10 years, 350 to get him. I don't know who would take that. Let us know in the comments below if you would sign Correa for that much amount of money, and do you think it'll be worth it? Do you think signing him till he's 37, 38, do you think that's worth putting that much amount of money and possibly also sacrificing Judge and not re-signing him? And so I would say that. And then my wild card free agent would be, I would say Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant is still available. He did really great for the San Francisco Giants. He's an outfielder, third baseman. The Yankees could use that. You can move Urshela over to short if you don't get Correa or any other shortstop, and then you can use Chris Bryant at third, or you can use him at center. I mean, whatever you want to do. I think those would be the guys that I say the Yankees need to look at starting now. But if the Yankees are not doing anything right now, they have a bigger plan in mind. They're probably either going to be really cheap this offseason, or they're just waiting for the new rules or whatever that's going to come out of the lockout. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you guys agree with Israel, or do you guys agree with me? Let us know in the comments below. And if you got any value so far throughout this video, make sure to smash that like button, as it helps the YouTube algorithm share this with more Yankee fans out there and more baseball fans. So make sure to do that, and make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you're notified whenever we post this up weekly on Mondays. So stay tuned for also more live streams. And I'm going to take it over to Israel so you can close this video off.
All righty, guys. So we're going to close this off with questions that some of you, the viewers, have left us. So I understand Anthony has those questions written out. So let's hear them, Anthony.
Awesome. Yeah, a few of the questions that a lot of people were asking in the comments of some of the YouTube videos is, what are the Yankees going to do with the catcher position now that some of the targets that they were going after are now gone? Are they going to stick with Gary Sanchez? What do you think, Israel? Do you think they're going to stick with Gary Sanchez?
I have a weird feeling that that might be a reality. I'm not too strong for it, considering during the season, even Cole wasn't in a huge favor of having Sanchez. Obviously, we did see the number of the games when Sanchez was the catcher. We did lose more of those games, but we can also see that if that's the only options the Yankee has, I really hope that we start looking to see who we can trade for the trade deadline into this coming season. That would be a better option. See who becomes hot as a catcher, and then trade him with Sanchez just to see who we can get back in return.
Awesome. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I would say let's just I mean, if we have to stick with Sanchez, then we stick with Sanchez. If not, we sign him and then we kind of trade him later on to see who else we can get. Unfortunately, the Marlins got Jacob Stallings, which was the one that I really, really liked after doing research and doing a video on my YouTube channel, Anzo, which you can check out in the description below, where I go more in depth on that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they do something about this because it's a problem. So now going on to the next question, Israel, a lot of people are asking about Trevor Story. Is Trevor Story and the Yankees a possibility now that all of these other free agents are off the market, and knowing that Carlos Correa is going to demand at least a 10-year, $350 million contract? Do you think there's a higher chance now that the Yankees get Trevor Story?
I do believe that it would be the smart choice for them. Even though he is 31 years old, obviously the Rockies have made it well known that today that they want to sign him, re-sign him. But if I'm the Yankees, knowing that I don't have to open the bank, he's obviously a great defensive player. Obviously, his hitting hasn't been that strong, but again, he was on the Rockies, so I don't expect him. But obviously, bringing him to the Bronx, surrounding him with obviously Sanchez and Torres, as well as many other guys that have been solid hitters for the Yankees, that could help them out. But I do think the Yankees have to, if they're not going to obviously open the bank for Correa, 100% make it a reality as of today. Get Story as a part of it. And let's say this, the Yankees did try to get him last season. I don't see an excuse why not do it now when he's a free agent.
I definitely agree. Get Trevor Story, and let's write a better story for the Yankees shortstop position. Now, the last question that we have here, Israel, has to do with Brian Cashman and the Yankees' state of basically nothingness right now in the free agency. The only player that they signed that's a major leaguer is Joely Rodriguez, the relief pitcher that did so-so and is a lefty specialist. And that's it. No one else, nothing else, no movement. We've heard some rumors, but they weren't even in on Max Scherzer. They weren't in on a lot of these players that we thought they were going to be in. I mean, we heard that they offered Marcus Semien about 6 years, but they didn't want to budge to that 7th year, which I don't blame him. The guy's in his early 30s. He's going to be in his late 30s at the end of that contract. But what are your thoughts on this offseason starting really, really slow, Israel? Well, tell us your thoughts.
One thought is, I don't know. I don't want to say Cashman hasn't lost his touch, because obviously we did see it when Cole was in free agency. We went after it. We have gone after for certain players. But as of right now, I do believe that Hal Steinbrenner, I actually even made this comment on Twitter, should sell the Yankees. He's not living up to the reputation of his father. He's a guy that, even the past season, he just blamed the players. He was like, oh, it's the players' fault. Excuse me. If David Ortiz, who is a lifelong Red Sox, will read Red Sox, says the Yankees have players to make it to the World Series, it isn't the players. And everyone's saying that, yeah, the players have to sing and groove together, but obviously we need better pitching coaches. We need better hitting coaches. We need better first base, third base coaches. And obviously, I'm still not too happy with Aaron Boone being signed back as the manager for the Yankees. So I do believe that Hal Steinbrenner needs to let it go and bring in fresh eyes to the product. And that would mean Cashman's tenure as GM for the Yankees come to an end.
Thank you, Israel. And that wraps it up for us, Israel. This was the 4Train podcast. Guys, thank you for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, please consider giving us a subscribe. Make sure to like that button and share this with any other Yankee fans if we hit on a topic that was really interesting for y'all to understand. So thank you. This is Anzo. Make sure to check out my channel below where I post daily Yankees content. And Israel, any comments?
Yeah, you guys can follow me, as you can see here on my screen, Israel Navarro, NVRRO, on Twitter, and we can always interact, and you guys can send me questions so we can talk here on the podcast. Thank you so much, and take care, and see you guys next week.
Peace out, guys.